Hey there, welcome to Contracts and Chaos. My name's Alyssa.
And I'm Brenna, and we're here to tell you that you are not alone in the mayhem of this real estate industry.
We're keeping it real and sharing our stories, strategies, and successes in today's real estate world.
So come join us every Tuesday while we talk contracts and chaos.
I'm hitting go. So we are going to get this show on the road. Let me make sure I'm on Do Not
We are
Disturb.
technically on the road. What did I just do? You are in your car.
I'm in my car. Can you see what is that behind me? That's Chick-fil-A behind me. Because I get to run my kids to baseball camp softball camp this morning. They have an elite hitting camp happening this week.
Oh, we hit that level of softball mom?
Yeah, we hit that level of softball mom. And one of Violet's team members spent the night at our house last night because her mom couldn't bring her today. So I was like, well, we'll just keep her tonight. I'll bring her tomorrow. I'll bring her back to you tomorrow night. So we did that. And Brenna got rear-ended yesterday.
Yeah.
So I also have an appointment to get the damage assessed. So I was like, I just don't have the time to go back and forth 6 times.
Right.
So here we are. We're in the car. But that's fine. Hopefully the sound comes out great. I have brand new headphones that I've been loving. The Wi-Fi in the car is working. Listen, we're hoping. We're hoping for good things. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we are talking about agents that just don't know how to properly show your home.
Or how to guide their clients during a home. Like, that is one of my biggest.
Because yes, your house is for sale. But gosh. And I'm one, you open the cabinets, we see if there's soft clothes, like those kinds of things. But there are some, I feel like pretty standard boundaries.
Right.
Or just out of respect. And with listings that I've had, and clients that I've had, they've been like, man, I really don't know that we need to look through the Louis Vuitton shoes in the closet. That. I don't know that that's a great option, but
we can admire them from a distance, but no, you're not touching them. No, you're not trying them on. And no, you cannot go to the bathroom here. Stop at the gas station.
Right, and also, I'm showing a property to adults, and I've had more issues with adults than I've ever had with kids touring homes. And I feel like that parent at, the China shop or, the touristy place that I'm like, we look with our eyes, not with our fingers.
Yes, exactly.
We look with our eyes, not with our hands. That's how we go. Okay, well, let's roll it back. They know what we're talking about. Let's start from the beginning.
Yes. So I think the most important part is set expectations, especially first-time home buyers. They may have never walked through a showing or an open house. They don't know what to expect. They only know what they see on HGTV or whatever those shows are, which I cannot watch. I was getting my nails done the other day and they had it on and oh, you're a realtor, you like this. And I was like, no, it's like going to work. I don't want to watch it. But you got to prep your clients.
And also, it's nothing like work. So, when you see, they go tour these, 3 perfect houses, and they just, clip at the living room, clip at the bedroom. It checks this box, it checks this box. This is the one that we're going to pick. And I'm like, yeah, right.
Well, and then behind the scenes, they've actually already bought one of them, so it's all staged anyway. But you've got to prep your clients. So explain the difference. If they want to drive by the property, it's exactly what it sounds like. They are driving by. They are not stopping. They are not getting out of the car. They're not peeking in windows or walking through gardens. I've had clients tell me, oh, yeah, we walked the property the other day. And I'm like, what? No. So, I make sure that's in my buyer rules email. That goes out. You can drive by. Even if it's vacant land, don't. Because if something happens, now those sellers, it could go on their insurance. They're liable. I could get in trouble because, we have agency. But just don't do it. So,
well, there's agents that say you can't even drive by, which I advise a lot of the time, especially if they're buyers that are just willing to look at anything, and they're like, oh, well, I think we could like this one and I think we could love this one. And I know that they're specific about areas too, or when because I've worked with a lot of relocation clients, they have no idea what the areas are, right? So we pull up there, 5, 7, I think the most I've done in a day is 12. that they've come into town to see. And then the first day that they're here, I don't meet them. I don't meet those people. I say, all right, here are the hot spots in the area that I think you should go check out and take a look at, and also drive through these neighborhoods. And you would be surprised, or maybe you won't be surprised that, probably 30% of those properties are crossed off the list before we ever walk through the door because they're like, nope, didn't love the neighborhood, didn't like that it was on a busy road, like those kinds of things. And that saves them time and that saves me time.
I did exactly that 2 weeks ago with my clients from out of town because I was booked to judge the parade of homes. And then, so I couldn't, like, I was like, I'm sorry, I've already, RSVP'd for this. And same thing, they were all over Charlotte. They didn't really know what they wanted. So I did the same thing. I said, here's the list of favorites that you've put on your favorites list. Go drive these, narrow it down, and then we'll talk Friday night when I'm done, and we'll set the showings for. None of those houses were on the list.
Were an option.
I started from scratch because they were like, ew, no, we're not living here. And I was like, thank God, because I know them personally. I was like, they're not going to like these neighborhoods. I know they aren't, but I can't say because of fair housing why they won't like these neighborhoods. And so I was just like, you've got to go figure this out. So that is super helpful. So yeah, as long as they're, and I told them, just don't get out of the car, like drive by, see what it's like, but just don't touch the property. But let's talk about an actual showing. When you have scheduled a showing, one of my big things is like, as we go in, I make sure they know, hey, like if the instructions say there's a cat inside or a dog inside, just so you know, keep an eye out and make sure that we're shutting doors quickly so no one accidentally escapes. I had the reverse, actually same clients, I had the reverse. There was no instructions about a cat, but we could see a cat. I have a picture of him sitting at the back door looking at us, and he had like food and everything. And I was like, I don't know if he's an indoor cat. I don't see a litter box anywhere. I'm not letting this cat in. So make sure, like I always, when we get there, go over the instructions. Okay, we need to take our shoes off. We need to make sure there's no pets. And then, or for me, like if I show up and all of the lights are already on, unless the instructions say to turn them off, I'm leaving that house as I found it. I'm not touching it. What do you think about that one?
No, I absolutely agree. And I was going to say something about like the instructions too, because we can only do what we know to do, right? So in your instance with the cat, like the more detailed you can be in those showing instructions is wonderful because we're going into somebody's house that I have no idea. So same thing. We've had instances where it says, hey, there's a cat inside. Please don't let them out. Or, hey, there's a cat. There may be a cat inside. Welcome to go in and out, like that kind of thing. But again, we're a stranger to your house as much as the buyers are. So the more info you can give me, the better. I'm also not an agent that's like, oh, they want us to take our shoes off, but our shoes are clean, so it's fine, right? Like,
no, take them off.
It's a respect thing.
Yes.
Take your shoes off.
Yeah. Now, my grandmother would argue with you because she would say, especially if you're barefoot, there's more oil in your feet that's going to make the dirt stick to my carpet, so keep your shoes on. But whatever.
Well, and I mean, there's an argument for that too. Here's the thing. If you're an agent that your client's like, I want their shoes off or booties, then you better buy the booties because my clients would much rather wear booties than go barefoot through somebody's house. Because again, it works both ways. Like you don't want germs tracked through your house, but they don't know what's in your house.
Right. Exactly.
So... And my mom would tell you that your feet actually like absorb the most amount of like whatever. So if you walk in it, it's bad news.
Those foot detoxes. But here's another one. Arrive on time. So I'm going to be honest. I don't always agree with this
early.
one. I don't agree with that either.
Oh God. Okay. All right. I'm excited about this because I love when we have like differing opinions on things because I feel. Okay,
if you have and this is for a very specific situation. If you have a day of showings. I always schedule a longer window than I need for that showing because what if one does take longer? What if we get stuck in traffic? What if I may not be there right on time for the third showing of the day, but I'll be there in that window?
Oh, yes. No, we are exactly on the same page with that because when I'm showing multiples, I tell my clients we should be in and out of a property within 20 to 30 minutes. I book for an hour, right? But when I'm booking, you can put notes into the listing agent too. And I say that because I say that we will arrive in that window, right? That we'll be there in that time, but I don't know that we'll be there in the beginning because we're stacking them. However, I know that I've had sellers that are like, hey, it's 10:07. There's nobody at the house yet. Why aren't they showing up? And then I'm like, well, me personally, if I have multiple showings happening, I stack and give a little wiggle room, right?
Yep.
But because I have had sellers like that are like, there's nobody there yet, they must not be coming. I put that information in when I request the showing that says, hey, I know this is a long window of time. We will be in and out in probably 30 minutes, but I can't tell you when we're going to arrive because
Right.
we're looking at 7.
Well, and I learned that
today.
one during COVID because you couldn't have overlapping showings, which I don't like overlapping showings anyway. But agents would just hang out in the house. And I was like, girl, get out of my way. Like, your showing ended 15. Well, we're not done yet and you can't come in.
Yeah.
No, your showing ended 15 minutes ago. There's 30 people here waiting and now you're in my showing time, which means I'm going to like, so I just book longer.
Yeah, that was a whole nother beast. But to go back to, and that applies for multiple showings. I say show up a little early, and when I say early, I book it early. If I tell my client our showing's at 10, I booked it for 9:45. And this goes back to one of our safety episodes that we had with Keith Sigmund, and why I book it for 9:45. I show up at 9:45, right? I park where I want to park on the street. I go through the whole house. I turn all the lights on. I know the layout of the house, right? I've already done like a quick sweep of red flags that I see, a leak in the ceiling, water underneath the sink, that kind of thing. So then when my clients get there, and listen, I don't work with creepy people, but you never know. Unfortunately, that's the truth about it. So when my clients get there, I'm able to say, oh my God, hello, all of the lights are on, everything's set up, let's go take a look. And I like usher them into the property, and then I'm following them. Because I've already looked, I've already seen, I know what's in there, and it's their turn. And that way I'm not, walking down a dark hallway to turn on a light in the bedroom at the end of the hall and something happened. That's why and it's not early, I show up on time, but earlier than my clients because I gave myself an extra 15 minutes to be able to do that.
Yes. I think the other, just as important, is be mindful of the tone in the house because everyone has a camera. I have one in my living room. It's not for me. It's not for security. It's so I can check on the dog and the cats, but it's there. Even if you can't see it, nanny cams are a thing. But like some of those conversations we're having outside or we're having at the end of the driveway so the doorbell camera doesn't pick it up. Especially if we do like this house and we do want to talk about negotiating outside. We're not doing that in the house.
Yeah.
But
I had one that my
like,
clients,
oh my God. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, my clients, we toured this house and immediately it was a no. I knew it was a no when we got there. It was a no. But God love them. They like step outside the door and they're like, so we want to put an offer in on the other house, right? And I'm like, oh my God, these poor sellers. Because if they are paying attention, my clients are like, nope, this is not it. But all it did was reassure us that the other house is indeed the property that we want to list on.
Right.
So.
Or like when I do virtuals, like FaceTime showings, I always have headphones on because I don't need, if there are cameras, they only need to hear one side of that conversation. Because like one the other day, I didn't even finish the first floor. My clients were like, get out. We don't even want to see the rest of it. And I was like, okay, yes, ma'am. She was like ripping it apart. I was like, okay, we're gone. Thank you.
I think the other thing that we all can do better at is respecting, again, from the very beginning of this episode, this is not your home yet. It could be, right? We hope it's going to be your home, but right now it is somebody else's space. And personally, I have seen such a lack of disrespect from agents. It blows my mind, right?
A lack of respect.
Yeah, a lack of, did I say disrespect? That was, yeah, a lack of respect from agents touring people's properties. Like they just this is their job. They're just touring these clients through. The biggest two, and I'm sure that you've seen this is something that you need to have a conversation with in your buyer agency as well. Your sister's cousin and her boyfriend and their 3 kids do not need to come to this showing. Okay.
No,
I know you're excited to
over that.
Oh my God, I know you're excited to show me, Ma. I understand you are. But when we are looking at houses, like if we're not under contract, if we don't have any idea if this is the property for you, do not show up with 6 cars in the driveway. My seller sent me a screenshot of her Ring doorbell camera, and there were, no joke, 8 cars in the driveway. It was a double wide trailer. Like, it's a tiny house. There was no less than 11 people in her house.
Nope. No, because it's not even that it's rude and you don't need to bring that many people, but like you can't keep track of that many people.
No.
I lost a client
Can you imagine
over
trying
this.
to watch 11 people tour through the house? There's no way. Even if you stand in the central part of the house and just like try to like make sure, oh, okay, Bob's in the kitchen, Aunt Susie's in the back bedroom, I think Teddy went outside. Like, that's impossible for you. It really is. And it makes a very uncomfortable situation for you as the buyer's agent, I'd hope. And also a really bad taste in the seller's mouth, unfortunately. And again, there's cameras. People have cameras in everything, everywhere now. So I just believe that I'm being watched.
No, and I lost a client over this because they were looking for a house or land that, yes, they were going to have their son and his wife either move their camper on or add a house too. But they would show up, husband, wife, 2 kids, adult son, his wife, their infant, brother-in-law, his 2 kids. They brought a fucking 4-wheeler once. And I was just like, no, it's 2 acres. We can walk, like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I just was like, we're done. And they bought land with another agent, and I'm happy for them. But I was just like, oh, and they brought grandma, who brought her own folding chair and sat in the living room. And I was just like,
okay,
no.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
What if, hypothetically, you have a client that has a dog or 2 dogs, and they're driving around with you for the day because they can't leave their dogs unsupervised at home? What happens when you're at a showing and you're all wrapped up and you're ready to leave and they say, Spot needs to go to the bathroom?
Then Spot can walk around the block, but Spot's not going in that yard. Or you can stop at a truck stop, go to a gas station, find a park nearby, but Spot's not doing it near that house. Absolutely.
Oh, but
not.
I have bags.
No. It's not your yard. You don't own it.
Absolutely BF not, you guys. Stop.
It's the same as you.
Now.
You're not going to poop in this house. So no. Get. The one that I have found, and you're gonna think it's ironic that this is the one that I've found. So like when people have small kids, and I'm child friendly, I don't have any of my own, but I give them a challenge.
I love that you say you're child friendly like it's a disclaimer. Like you don't have any small pieces that anyone's going to choke on. Like, I'm child friendly.
My house is not child friendly, but I am child friendly.
Oh, God.
But I give them a challenge, like especially if it's one showing. It's like, okay, if you can be quiet this whole time, we're not going to talk at all because mommy and daddy or whoever have to look at this, especially like if they have to come on inspection day. We have to have conversations. Mm-hmm. I'll give mommy money to get you ice cream afterwards.
Nice.
Or I'll give them a scavenger hunt. Like, okay, you have to stay with us. And because I've previewed the house or I've seen the pictures, I want you to find the blah, 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 blah. And when you find it, you let me know. And
the scavenger hunt is a really cool idea. I know. So I've done a couple of times where you sign a buyer agency agreement with the sellers, right? So, or with the buyers. Why not have an agreement with the kids, right? Like, we don't touch anything at showings. Those kinds of things. And when mommy and daddy buy a house, Miss Brenna is going to get me a $25 gift card too, and they can select Walmart, Target, like those kinds of things.
I love that idea.
Same thing with listings,
I'm going to implement that one.
Mom and dad are selling their house, right? And it's my responsibility to make sure that my toys are picked up and that my room is clean and my bed is made anytime we have a showing, right? And I do these things. When we sell the house, Miss Brenda is going to get me a gift card for Walmart, Target, or whatever, right? They feel so important writing their little scriggly little names on this stuff, It's just because otherwise, like, kids get bored. Once they've seen the house in the first 30 seconds that they like zipped in and were like, yep, nope, love it, this is cool, can we buy it? You've lost them there. So I love the idea of a scavenger hunt, especially because, again, like you said, you look at the pictures, so you can be like, I need you to find the blue door. I need you to find the rocking chair. I need you to find, and make a game out of it. I love that.
It works. I discovered that like with my niece and nephews. When we're doing stuff, if I give them a task, they're far more likely to behave than just being like, you have to be quiet. So it works.
Because they're focused on something. They have a job at that point.
Right. Double check that all the doors are locked and the lights are returned to their original settings. Yes, unless the showing instructions say elsewise. I have
Oh,
a
I'm shaking
listing.
my head. I'm not shaking my head. No, I'm shaking my head. Like it's insane to me that we even have to say this out loud.
But it's
You
a
know?
thing. Like, I even check the doors that I know we didn't touch.
Mhm.
Like, if there's a back door, but for some reason we didn't go, I'm still checking that back door. I'm locking it because I'm not going to be the agent that was the last showing and someone broke in through the back door.
Exactly.
Inside garage doors, if we've opened them and it was locked, I'll lock it. But some people don't have a key to that and they enter through the garage.
Mhm.
So, okay, the
Yep.
garage door is the barrier. But, like, I think I said this earlier. If all the lights are on when I get there, I'm leaving them unless the
Mhm.
instructions say to please turn them off. So, or like
Yep.
the agent has texted me like, "Hey, you're the last showing of the day. Can would you mind turning them off?" There
Well, because
is
agents should be, and I mean, I know I do when I have sellers that are living in the home. When we have a showing request and you have enough time, we want to prep that house to be as open and welcoming as possible. That's another reason I schedule 15 minutes early. So the lights on, the blinds open, things like that make a huge difference upon first impression. So maybe that agent did say, "Hey, when we have a showing, I would love for you to, put a candle on, turn the music on the TV, turn the lights on. Like, let's
right,
create an experience and ambiance." But also, maybe they want that turned off. So
right,
the agents that say, "Please turn the lights off," they all get turned off. If they say, "Leave lights on," that's what happens. But
yep. And I would say
that's just
treat it like it's your own listing, but some of the ways I've seen agents treat listings lately,
treat. Oh,
I
maybe not.
I
Yeah.
toured a house that was over $500,000 the other day, and they couldn't be bothered to like magic eraser the walls. And I mean, they were nasty. There was multiple handprints. You could tell the husband leans over the toilet every time he pees in the primary bedroom. Yeah.
That's terrible. Oh
And it
my
was all
goodness.
like, I think this family walks with their hands running down the walls. Like, and not just kids' hands, there were adult, and I was just like, what? So,
Hmm.
but treat it like it's not your house. You're a guest. Like,
Yeah.
be good to that house. Don't leave it. I guess the camping rule, leave it better than you found it. Like,
Yeah.
what you carry in, you carry out. We're not eating in it.
I
We're
was just
not
gonna
messing
say
it up.
that. Better than you found it. That's a good one.
Yeah. Um, we've kind of gone over like photos and video. Obviously, most places have cameras now, but in North Carolina, you can take photos without needing extra permission, but you can't take
Hmm.
video. I have a lot of clients who want to send it back to their family to show them. If that's, going to be a thing, make sure you get permission first.
Hmm.
The listing
That's the
pictures
same
are all
thing when
online.
I'm. Hmm. I was just gonna say when I am doing virtual showings too, I let the listing agent know, "Hey, this is a virtual showing. Like it's a video to my clients in whatever New Jersey,
Right.
Florida. So I'm FaceTiming through the house, and they could be screen recording. I don't know. And
Yep, I don't
honestly,
know.
the platform that I use holds those videos for that user, for my buyer, for 30 days, which I love because then they're able, especially if we're touring several houses virtually in one day, they're like, "Which one did I hate the kitchen in?" They can rewatch that. But that is something that, I mean, and in our listing agreement, there's also a section that says, "Hey, they're not supposed to do this, they're not supposed to do this, but we can't tell you that nobody's going to take a photo of the
Right.
inside of your house," right? And that's
Right.
also why we advise you to pull down any pictures and memorabilia, like any of that stuff that if it doesn't look like a Pinterest house, like
Right.
you don't need that stuff out circulating to
Yeah, because it's
family
one thing
wherever it is.
to have like your address and your floor plan and pictures out there, but to have pictures of your house that have your wedding photos or your
Hmm.
baby photos, like,
Yep.
no,
That's
honey,
personal.
no. It reminds me of when people do the first day of school announcements, and I know so much about their kid that I could go kidnap them without a hassle. And I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? Like, come
Their
on.
teacher, their homeroom, their grade
Right?
level, their interest, their little sister's name, how old they are, their favorite
Yeah,
color.
I'm like, okay, so now I also know all the passwords to all your devices because we know it's a combination of one of these things. But
Right.
I think back to this, you got to teach the seller or the buyers that one, you're not only violating the seller's privacy, but it could cost them not only the house, but legal trouble because you signed legal documents acknowledging you wouldn't do this. It's in the
Hmm.
agency agreement. I'm pretty sure it is. So sellers could come after you. Like if you post, and this goes for agents too, like, and we've all done it. Oh my God, look at this ancient radio, or look at this creepy thing. Like, and then we post it on social media. Just be aware, you could get in big trouble, your client and as an agent. So
let's talk about after.
one.
Let's talk. I was going to say, talk about after. What happens after? And there's been a lawsuit recently about that. I have to tell you, the number of times I have to tell my sellers that I see less than, and this is no joke, less than 30% of my showings come with feedback. And I hunt that feedback.
Same.
With showing time that we use, there's automatic like requests for feedback that go out. In addition to that, I call the agent, I text the agent, and I email the agent, right?
Right.
That's a lot. And still, sometimes I don't hear a single thing.
Or you get what
really
I got at 11:30 on a like Wednesday night. I got a text from an agent with the feed, and I was like, it wasn't in the automated system. It was a direct text message with feed, and I was like, you do know there's a send later button, right?
Right.
Like what?
Schedule that.
But, and there's things that you have to be careful with. So like, I'll be honest, I give a little bit of criticism on listings where I say, no, the whole house at this price point, the whole house needs to be painted. It doesn't support the price point. The condition, or I'll put something like, the condition of the house does not support the price point. So when the agent reaches out, I'll say, the whole house needed to be painted. The one the other day smelled like weird maple syrup, like the whole house, and it was vacant. So what's going on? Or
when I was first licensed, I was told when you give feedback to try to do the sandwich, right? Especially if you know your clients are not interested. Like, I love the location and the natural lighting in the property. My clients really didn't care for the carpet throughout. The walls need touch-ups, walls need painting. However, we did really enjoy XYZ. Thank you for letting us show, right? So it's like good, bad, good. Sometimes there's a listing that I'm like, was there anything good in that house? Like I can't.
Right. That's when I just put doesn't fit my client's needs.
That's very generic. I love that. Sorry, just is not the one. I mean, oh, that's good. That's good. And sometimes that's all it takes, because I mean, there have been instances where there is like, I would hope that the listing agent knows what is wrong with that property and why it's not selling. But sometimes they just blindly take these listings and then like, oh my gosh, I have no idea why it's not moving. So most of the time, because a lot of times when we're seeing flips, they're vacant, and then you go in and it looks like it's a hay field and that it looks like an abandoned property all over again, those kinds of things. Yes. It goes a long way. So helpful feedback is great. If they're not interested, there's no reason to be like nasty about it. Like your sellers are disgusting. Right. Like my clients can wait to get out of the house. Like that's unnecessary. But if you can,
sorry,
go ahead.
There's a slight delay. Sorry. If that's what that whole lawsuit was about, the agent gave negative feedback because the clients didn't want it. Something happened and they came back and wrote an offer. And the seller said, no, we know you don't like it. And they weren't willing to negotiate on anything. So you have to be careful because it really could ding you. Absolutely. Okay.
For sure.
Well, let's wrap this up because I can hear your car getting angry at you. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it was just like shut off. Like it's on a timer when I'm parked. Like it won't stay on for more than like 20 minutes. So we'll wrap this up though, because seriously, we say this, I think, every other episode. We're going to do this quick this time. But I mean, a lot of this goes or should go without saying. And I have a couple of other things that I'll say in our next episode when we do our like spooky stories for our anniversary episode, but I didn't want to give them away now. Right. So you're going to have to come back and listen to the Scary Stories episode. Not as bad as last year, I promise. But
no dead dogs this year.
No dead dogs this year. Ultimately, the biggest thing is be prompt, respectful of the time that you requested, respectful of the property, leave it locked, leave it secure, turn the lights off, like let the agent know when you're done. If you booked an hour and you were there in the first 5 minutes and your client said, nope, not for me, go ahead. I mean, I know our showing time app will be like, or it's actually the super app, I think, that says, have you finished the showing? And that can like notify the sellers that you're gone, right? So if there are no more showings, they're not sitting at the Circle K down the street for an hour with the dogs waiting for you to leave. That's
Right.
just something else that can be super helpful. And then leave feedback. I mean, just say, hey, it wasn't the one, and try to say something nice. If you can't say
Right.
something nice,
Or just
maybe that's when we
just
don't say anything at all. But
right.
use your best
And I
judgment.
think that's another thing listing agents need to understand too is sometimes no feedback is your feedback,
Yes.
unfortunately.
And
Because
I've
there
told my
is
sellers that too. Like if we've had several showings and I haven't run into this recently, thank God. But like if we have no feedback, if we're having several showings, no offers, no feedback, that is the feedback. Something's wrong.
yep.
We're overpriced. They're not seeing the value. They're just like, it's not even worth it. So, but it is helpful because I know how much feedback echoes what I've said, right? If I'm like,
Right.
hey, the upstairs carpet needs to be replaced, and they're like, we'd rather just like negotiate it in when we get an offer, and then consistently we're getting like feedback that says the upstairs carpet smells like dog, here you go. Here's what I
Right.
said just
Yep.
from somebody else, and maybe we get something different from that.
Well,
But
and sometimes as a listing agent, you have to coach that out of the buyer's agent and be like, hey,
mhm,
I know some things and I'm trying to inform my clients. I need the neutral third party. Can you please? Like you're
mhm,
inviting, I need you to give me the negative feedback. So
mhm.
it's not always a bad thing to get that either. But on
Yep.
that note, be polite, lock it up, give feedback, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
We just finished another episode of Contracts and Chaos, but believe me, the chaos does not stop here. So check out the show notes for our email address and where to follow us on socials, and we will see you next week.